What's up guys, my name's Brandon and I've been using the Apple Watch Series 4 every single day now for about 3 months, and these are my thoughts. So watches have never really been my thing, but the Apple Watch changed that for me. Last year I picked up my first ever Apple Watch with the Series 3. It was the 38mm aluminum space gray model and I absolutely loved it. However, the only thing I do regret is getting the smallest size. So this year when Apple launched the Series 4 with not only a bigger watch face, but also a practically edge-to-edge display, I was instantly sold. And I also instantly felt great about my purchase because the unboxing experience this year was fantastic and just much better than last year with the Series 3. You now get the band in completely separate packaging, and you also have the watch face itself coming in a really nice microfiber pouch. And just the overall experience just felt so much more luxurious and high-end this year with the Series 4. So about that screen, so the screen is now 30% larger than last year's Series 3, and you also no longer get the 38mm option, as they're now only sold in 40 and 44mm sizes. And like I said, I went for the 44mm watch face here just because I felt like the 38 was just so much smaller, and as a man I want something that looks masculine on my wrist, you know, so the 44mm I think is the perfect size for a male. Obviously 40 and 44, it's not going to be as huge of a difference as 38 was. 38 was just too small on my wrist, but I'm really satisfied with the 44 now. Just glancing at the time, reading off notifications, and just responding to text messages on this bigger screen is so much better than it was last year with the 38mm. I just feel like it has so much more room because not only is it a bigger display on here as well, but we also have less bezel, so there's just so much more room to work with this year, especially with the 44mm model. You can also see a lot more content on the watch faces themselves, and those customizable modules aren't microscopic like they were on the 38mm. I wouldn't really say microscopic, but they were a lot smaller, and sometimes it was kind of hard to read, you know, from a distance what the battery level was, or, you know, something like that. And there are a lot of custom watch faces to choose from as well. You can go with something very informative like this one with 8 different customizable things that can show at once. However, I prefer a much more simplistic approach and style on my wrist. So this is the watch face I'm rocking right now. I really like it. It looks really clean and elegant, and it really goes with, you know, outfits that I wear as well. And aside from the minimal bezel design, the first thing I noticed about this new Apple Watch was the speed. This thing is just extremely quick, even compared to the Series 3. I can't even imagine the Series 2 or Series 1 or Series 0, but from boot up to navigating around, you know, all the applications and actually using the applications themselves, it is considerably faster than the Series 3. And I would say the boot up is one of the biggest differences because the boot up time on the Series 3 was just so slow. I've seen the Series 0 boot up as well, and that's kind of embarrassing how long it takes to boot up, but even the Series 3 was extremely slow. However, the Series 4 is a lot faster at booting up. And speaking of changes from last year, the Series 4 also has the brand new ECG feature built into the watch. So you can actually run an electrocardiogram any given time to see if your heart rhythm is irregular or if it's normal. And I made a full separate video for this. It's a very interesting watch, so you can check that out. It's in the cards and down in the description below, but it's a really cool feature, and it's really cool that you can send the stats and the data to your doctor straight from within the health application as well. Series 4 also has the new fall detection feature, which I have not had yet. I have not actually fallen while wearing my Apple Watch Series 4, but it is a pretty cool feature that's built in. I've seen some demos on it as well. So basically, if you fall while wearing the Apple Watch, you'll get an alert, and it will actually say, you know, we've detected a fall. Do you want to call emergency services, or do you just want to dismiss the notification? And if you don't respond and the Apple Watch actually senses that you don't move for 60 seconds, it will automatically call emergency services, and it will, you know, track you down and everything. So that is awesome, especially for old people. You know, if they've fallen and they can't get up and they don't respond, you know, obviously you would assume the person is probably dead, or, you know, maybe had a stroke or something like that. So it's really cool that something like this is built in to the Apple Watch. Again, another life-saving feature. The digital crown has haptic feedback, and it just feels amazing when you're scrolling and when you click in and when you click on things just all throughout watchOS. It feels buttery smooth. It just feels so awesome. And I didn't think something so subtle would add so much to the experience on the watch, but it really does, especially when you're scrolling and you can just feel that haptic feedback. It's just awesome. You'll also notice that the crown on the Series 4 isn't completely red like it was in the Series 3. It just has an outline of red, which looks way better in my opinion, and it doesn't stick out as much. We also have a brand new speaker in the Apple Watch Series 4, which is 50% louder than the Series 3. And let me just tell you right now, this is noticeable. I mean, I thought it was noticeable when you go from iPhone to iPhone and the upgraded speakers, but the Apple Watch, the speaker got significantly louder, and you can really tell when it comes to phone calls and things like the walkie-talkie feature. Which, by the way, the walkie-talkie feature is amazing. Probably my favorite feature overall on the Apple Watch. Very close with the ECG monitor. And walkie-talkie allows you to, well, walkie-talkie with somebody else with an Apple Watch. And the great thing is they don't have to have an Apple Watch Series 4. They can have any Apple Watch as long as it's on watchOS 5 or above. You just simply pick from your contacts who you want to walkie-talkie with, and it'll send them an authorization message asking if you want to accept incoming walkie-talkie messages. And then once you have it set up, you just hold the yellow button in the application and speak into the watch. It's just so useful for so many situations. Let me just give you an example. So this happens all the time. I'll be at the grocery store, my girlfriend will be at home. I'll just be able to simply walkie-talkie on my watch to her and ask if we have something at home, or she can tell me, there's something I need to get from the grocery store very quickly. And it completely beats having to pick up your phone and, press the number from your favorites or from your recents or whatever and put the phone up to your ear and wait for like 2 rings. This is instant. Like once you press that walkie-talkie, it's near real time. So it's instant. You don't have to pick up a phone. It's completely hands-free. My hands are on the cart while I'm talking to her. It's just so convenient. And I can see so many other instances where walkie-talkie would be so beneficial over making a phone call. Now, the whole reason this works great, like where I can do that from the grocery store and things like that, is because I do have the LTE model. Now, keep in mind that will be an additional $10 a month. It will go on your phone bill as $10 more a month. So just keep that in mind. But in my opinion, $10 a month is well worth it. I would pay $30 a month because this can be a lifesaver. I mean, if your phone dies, or just so many, if you lose your phone, if your phone gets stolen, you'll still have your watch to be able to make calls and things like that. Like I can't imagine somebody's gonna steal your phone, or you're gonna lose your phone and your watch at the same time. So there's so many reasons why it could be a lifesaver as long as you do have LTE enabled on the watch. Now, I mainly wear my Apple Watch as a fashion piece. Now, yes, I do wear it to the gym and use it for exercise and tracking my steps and things like that, but I do love wearing it as a fashion piece. So the watch band itself is extremely important to me. You can see right here, I'm currently rocking the black leather band. I actually just got this from Amazon and I have multiple different colors as well. But I will say that Nomad is another company who makes some pretty cool Apple Watch bands. You can see these right here are pretty nice. Now they are a little bit bulky, so just keep that in mind, but I will leave links to all these bands I mentioned in this video down in the description below. There are just so many options for watch bands. It's so cool because pretty much nobody's Apple Watch looks the same unless you just keep everything default, which some people do, I guess, but there's just like unlimited amounts of customizability with the Apple Watch because you can put so many different bands on there. And I love the fact that I was able to use this band on my Apple Watch Series 3 and the Series 4. It's interchangeable. You don't have to get a new band just because you have a Series 4 and you had a Series 3 or a Series 2 in the past. Now, speaking of using the Apple Watch in the gym, I do love using this in the gym to track my exercise and to fill up all my rings on a daily basis. But I have to say, it's not really a must-have thing in the gym because I much prefer to use the Apple Watch to track my steps and things like that because it is more accurate than the iPhone. Obviously, because you do have it on your wrist, sometimes you may set your iPhone down or hold it or something like that, and the stats can be skewed. But I like tracking the Apple Watch. I like tracking my steps with the Apple Watch, I'd say more. I like taking my heart rate, from time to time and things like that, just making sure I'm healthy more than using it at like the gym to track my exercise and things like that. But I will say that all the data, the exercise data, the heart rate, everything integrates so well inside of the health application on your iPhone. There's just so much data in there. It's really awesome if you're into statistics and just looking at the numbers and things like that, especially when it comes to your health. I mean, you should want to look at stuff like that because it shows, just how healthy you are. Now, as for the battery life on the Series 4, it gets the same battery life as the Series 3, which Apple claims is up to 18 hours. And I find that to be pretty accurate, but I actually find myself getting probably more than 18 hours a lot of times. I don't think I've ever charged my watch in consecutive days. I usually always get 2 days of usage out of my Apple Watch before I have to go and charge it up. Now, it doesn't take too long to charge up. Of course, it does take longer than something like the AirPods, but it doesn't take as long as something like the iPhone. So yeah, the Series 4 gets extremely great battery life. And even with that bigger screen and the more powerful CPU built in, none of that stuff is going to drain the battery any faster than it did on the Series 3, which is just awesome because, of course, battery life is probably one of the top things that everybody should care about. Now, the Series 4 starts at $399 for the Wi-Fi model and $499 for the LTE model. So yeah, pretty expensive. But in my opinion, it is fully worth it, especially the $499 LTE watch. Again, I would pay the extra $100 because you just never know. There's so many reasons to get the LTE watch over just the regular Wi-Fi or GPS watch. And like I said, some of the biggest ones are, for one, the walkie-talkie feature. For two, you can make phone calls if your phone were to be stolen, if you forgot your phone or anything like that. There's just a lot of different reasons. And, you know, maybe if you're out surfing, this is something I remember Apple showing at like the keynote or something like that. But if you're like out surfing on the beach, like way out there on a surfboard, you can actually use your watch to make a call or do, you know, walkie-talkie, things like that, where obviously you're not gonna have your iPhone way out there. So that's just another, you know, extremely rare use case, but that is a use case for having the LTE watch. So to most people, and myself included, the Apple Watch has just always seemed like an accessory to the iPhone, just like a kind of optional accessory to the iPhone that didn't really stand out. It was just like, if you have the money, go ahead and buy the Apple Watch. You know, it's kind of cool on your wrist. But that changed with the Apple Watch Series 4. It went from just being an accessory you may want to have to, in my opinion, being an accessory that you need to have to pair with your iPhone. It is by far the most beautiful and the most powerful Apple Watch yet. So there you have it, guys. That is my 3 months later review on the Apple Watch Series 4. Again, I love this thing to death. I wear it nearly every single day, and I have so many different uses for it. It is just awesome. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Also, make sure to leave a comment down below if you have an Apple Watch Series 4, if you're wanting an Apple Watch Series 4, let me know your thoughts down in those comments. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.